Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk the Season 7 teaser between Negan and Rick, right-hand man teaser. And again, you can find the link to the teaser in the video description. And also, I did a previous video just giving a couple thoughts, chit-chatting about it, first impressions. First thing I noticed in the teaser, or the sneak peek, girls are whimpering more than the guys. Now, it sounds like at the very end, it does sound like we are hearing Aaron either whimpering or injured. I thought maybe that was also Abraham, either moaning or whimpering, but it sounds more like Aaron. Now, another thing, Negan says, what, was that joke bad? Now, that's directly from the comic book where comic Negan says Lucille's a vampire bat. So we know they're pulling stuff from the comic book because Rick's, and it's directly from the comic book because, except for the kill, we don't know that for sure. So Rick says, I'm gonna kill you. Now, I think this was done A+. Man, shit, the charisma, the tension, the stare, and I love what Greg Nicotero is doing with this, and even maybe coaching the actors. I wasn't on set, so I don't know who was coaching who or how it was rehearsed, but the time, the beats in between the dialogue was something I noticed that was ramping up the tension. I love that. I was biting my nails just waiting for Negan to say something. So we have the pauses between Rick and Negan. I think they did a wonderful job, and we got a confirmation. Simon is Trevor's name. We were calling him Trevor because he was Trevor in Grand Theft Auto, but his name is Simon. And then we get the part that I love the best. Simon goes, or Negan goes, whoa, what did he have, a knife? And Simon goes, well, he had a hatchet. And Negan gave him this look, and he was like, a hatchet? Oh, man. Yo, that right there was killer. That won me over. That, a hatchet. Negan asked for the hatchet, and again, I think this is the setup. I don't think they're actually going to take his hand off. Negan does talk about having a right-hand man, and he asks if Rick has one, and he says, without one, it's a whole bunch of work, which I know a lot of people are going to think, oh, that means they killed two people or multiple people because of the way he said that. He's going to chop off Rick's right hand because of the comic book and the way he said that. But I really feel like that actually sets Simon up to be killed off. Because think about it. Comic book fans will know in detail more of what I'm talking about, but I don't want to go into spoilers. But think about it. If Simon did die, somehow, some way, I'm hoping the Kingdom kills him, undercover-like. But let's just say Simon gets killed. Negan's going to need a new right-hand man. What if he gets Dwight for that? And we already have a little history with Dwight, and I think comic fans know, I think that could be an interesting remix, and I love that idea. So I'm shooting for Simon dies, and Dwight becomes Negan's new tortured right-hand man. Now, Negan, he asks for the axe. No, he asks for the axe. This part I kind of, I moaned out loud, because I didn't want him to cut Rick's hand off, and I already knew a million people would ask me about it, but I let it go. I said, you know what, I'm enjoying this so damn much, it's making me so damn hyped, I'm loving this, I'm gonna forget about the negatives, I'm gonna push it out of my head. And I will have to say, later I got the impression that it's not happening that way. They're gonna do something different. Now, the birds chirping in the background, I love that, because it kind of was an eerie connection to the way the saviors were whistling when they set the trap. I don't know, there was a connection there that was kind of like an evil whistle, and then you hear the birds, and it's like a heavenly chirp, you know, they're singing, and you have this person who was just killed, and these birds are singing, and it's early morning. I don't know, man, that contrast there, it was so beautiful, and I love how that was in the sound, because it also lets us know that daylight's coming, so that might connect to Negan in the RV with the gun, that promo image we got. I do want to say, on a negative side though, the blood on Lucille, it kind of looks like paint. There's something there that, if it was the coloring or something, they put filters on this stuff so things aren't as bright, you know, they make it look all doomsday and shit, which that could affect the blood. I'm just pulling this out of my ass, I'm guessing off the top of my head, but the blood looked like paint, so not really feeling it. And then when Negan drags Rick, he even rolls. You see Rick's getting dragged, and then he does this little flip, and he's looking, and he's like, oh shit guys, hold on, it's embarrassing as shit for a leader, but I just feel like it would have that more realistic, authentic feeling if Negan had some more weight to him. And it's not like we're asking for something that we know we can't get. We've seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan big as shit, you know? Now, we get the blood when the camera pans down, and the blood looks like mush. It doesn't even look like a head, which I know we're like, oh man, that's gory and that's awesome as shit, but part of me's thinking, oh man, it doesn't even look like a head. We didn't get anything, so I'm hoping there's more there. Like, I want to see a jawbone, I want to see teeth, I want to see some recognition that was once a head. I think not seeing stuff like that keeps the gore limited, because if you just see a pile of red mush, yeah, obviously it's going to look gross if you think, oh, that was someone's head, but without seeing those telltale signs that was a head, I don't know, for me it takes me out of the gore factor. It doesn't feel as gory in my opinion, so hopefully that will change when we see it on TV. And again, I say there's a man groaning right around here in the sneak peek, and I think that's Aaron, actually. And I don't think it's an injured groan, but I could be wrong. And when we pan down, we do see Daryl's blanket or coat. I think it's kind of like a material tarp, it looks like, from the back of the van. But yeah, poncho, whatever the hell you want to call it. There's some material they drape over him because he's wounded, he's losing blood. Now, we're going to talk about this in the spoiler part 3 discussion, and that's coming up after this video, but I think the poncho there is just to trick us and get us talking. I don't think Daryl dies at the hands of Negan, but I do think now that he does interrupt, which kind of disappoints me somewhat. We have all these iconic scenes, a lot are pulled from the comic, and I love Daryl, but it feels like they keep forcing him, interjecting him into these scenes, and I was so excited when he got shot, because before, you would think Daryl would stand up, Daryl would say something, Daryl would, he's not gonna just lay there and take it. So when he got shot, I'm like, oh my god, that's genius. You have Maggie, she's sick, that puts her out of commission, she can't fight back, she might even pass out during the beating. And then you have Daryl, he's shot, he lost blood, he can't even fight back, so that's perfect. Daryl will not interfere, and sure enough, it looks like he does. So I'm thinking that's the one thing, I'll be honest with you, that's the one thing that could truly hurt the scene, in my opinion, as a fan. Because it just feels like Daryl's being forced in there. Now, it has a lot to do with the fan base, though. All the time we get Daryl fans, why doesn't Daryl lead in the group? Why? And it's stuff that's not in his character, you know what I'm saying? Why don't we see more of Daryl? Why he's the main character? We hear all this shit from the Daryl fans. They want Daryl to do things that aren't even what his character does, So anyway, I'm hoping that's just in my head and he doesn't interfere. And then we have Negan aiming the gun out the window. That's not in the sneak peek, but it is in a promo image we got, and this is interesting because Negan might take Rick somewhere. He might have a conversation with Rick in the trailer. They're either leaving to go to the hilltop or some other destination. For whatever reason, there has to be a reason for them to leave, though. Negan's gonna have to show him something, convince Rick, show him maybe the rest of his group, I don't know, something. He has to take him somewhere to be like, look at this, Rick, you cannot defeat me, look at the size of my group. And then he's going to drive him back, and when he does, and I think it would be interesting seeing Negan and Rick in the RV having a conversation like that, and then when he does, maybe he's going to point a gun out the window and say, Eugene's gun, and be like, listen, Rick, fall in line, or maybe I just kill all your people, and that's finally it. And Rick is like, you know what, you're right, you got me, you won, I'm going to fall in line. And this is where I think they're gonna trick the fans and make us think that Rick is actually admitting defeat and he's gonna fall in line, which is creative, and I like that. Now, in the RV, who knows what the hell's gonna happen, but this conversation is gonna continue in the spoiler part. That's gonna get uploaded next. I hope you guys enjoy these little, I'm not in the camera, but you guys don't care because I shaved and I look like a butt face, so I'm taking my ass face off screen for a little bit. I promise I will return. I will haunt your days, but I'll be back in a little bit. Stay tuned, uploading this spoiler discussion right behind this one. And just because I'm uploading something that's a spoiler discussion doesn't mean I support spoilers. I still hate them, but if you're into spoilers or if you've heard rumors, chances are this isn't going to ruin anything for you, so stay tuned for that. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking, it's your turn, and I'm pointing at you guys, so it's your turn.
Subscribe now.